What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another installment here of Honest and Uneducated, the show where we talk about anything from movies, movie news, video games, comic books, custom lightsabers, hot toys, just all sorts of fun stuff like that. It's kind of a light news week, but there's some big topics here that we're going to get into. And obviously, when I say we, I of course mean that I got Rick Metz himself here today. How you doing today, Rick?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad, man. We got a lot going on.
Yeah, digging those new lightsabers.
Oh, I know, yeah. So let me get John introduced, and I'll go over everything. So, John, we got John Knight here himself. How you doing, John?
I'm good, guys. How you doing?
Dude, it's good. We're good. It's good stuff. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Well, we had a lot of good stuff to talk about, man. If you guys caught the live stream this past week on it was Friday, I did an unboxing of some lightsabers, and John, actually, if you look here, I got something for you that you haven't seen yet. So if you see here, do you see the lightsabers down here? Do you see this? Here's the one I got, right? Here's the Revan Sith blade, right? There's, you saw that.
That's toy.
Yep.
And then you saw the lightsaber itself here, the Jedi Revan blade, right? But my wife got me this stand here.
Oh,
so
that's slick.
This is actually the official lightsaber stands that you get from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Not that expensive either.
Shit.
Yeah, and they're only $25. And the cool thing about this stand, I'll do a little demo for it right here, is it's got these little pegs on it, right? And like the lightsaber sits down on top of it. But what you do here is this actually pops out, and it has them inside there. So you can see them like right here. So you actually can move these or put more on there, whatever you need to actually be able to stabilize your blade.
It's metal too, isn't it?
It's metal, yeah, so it's very heavy duty. And the great thing about this one is I always complained about this other stand I have, that with this saber, it has like these blades and stuff on it. So it's really hard to get it to sit like this so you can see the buttons. But with this one, it actually does sit like this, so the buttons are on display and everything. So it's really
cool.
Sweet. That looks great too.
It's really good. These actually stay on pretty good. It's just I had it at a weird angle. So
yeah, sure.
But otherwise though, it's great.
Nice.
So we got that. So guys, obviously, you can go back and if you caught that stream, you saw the unboxing. But I'm gonna upload the unboxing video of it. Then I'm obviously gonna do a review of both of these and do the comparison of the lightsabers and this custom gunmetal Revan Jedi blade I have. So, because it's from a different company. So I'll compare and do a review of all these. And that'll be up on the channel here. I'll probably have the unboxing video itself. I'll probably put that up Wednesday because I'm going to edit that out and get that up for you guys. And then I'll do like the review and everything, comparison, probably be up sometime next week. So you can look forward to that. But let's get into this show here because we got some stuff to talk about. But don't forget as well, guys, you can submit topics and questions to the show by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. But with that down, let's get into our first topic here, and it's a doozy. It's something that I guess I'm not 100%. I can't really say I was surprised it happened. I figured it was going to happen, and that is our boy Christopher Nolan, one of the arguably one of the best directors right now today. I'm not going to say he is the best, but to a lot of people, I'm sure they would consider him probably one of the best best directors in the business right now. And if you think that he is the best, I would not deny. I wouldn't argue. Like it's
good that we don't have to argue because I personally. I'll throw my hat in the ring for him to be the best out there right. I mean, as of right now, like I'm trying to just think of somebody that has the body of work that he has that's still making film. Like, okay, yeah, you can throw Spielberg out there.
I was literally about to say, you got Spielberg out there.
But Spielberg, his movies, he's much more infrequent with his movies nowadays.
Anymore, yeah.
I mean, right? Like I'm trying to think of like
Ready Player One. And he's working on.
He directed Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese.
And that was
Scorsese is still making movies. That's true.
Yeah, Ready Player One was good, but I don't put it on the same level as what Nolan's doing right now. I feel like Spielberg is kind of taking a step back and maybe doing more of his producer role nowadays.
Yeah, he's also working on. He's doing a musical right now. What musical is he doing? I think it has Ansel Elgort in it, and what is it? Hold on, you keep talking while I look it up. It's gonna bother me now.
So I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, I was like James Gunn. All right, excellent director right now. Again, just doesn't have quite the body of work, and while I love his films, I don't think they're quite Christopher Nolan. I'm trying to think of somebody that has that kind of grand epic feel to just about everything they do. And
super innovative too, I feel like.
Sure, yeah.
From his cinematography to just the stories, and I mean,
West Side Story. Sorry,
West Side Story.
He's doing an adaptation of West Side Story. Sorry, go on.
Han Solo.
So anyway, yeah, that's my brief. Like, if I had to, not if I had to, I would just put Chris Nolan out there. I appreciate everything he does. You know, people can talk about the whatever the holes, the plot holes in his movies and stuff, and sure, but there's lots of movies you can break down plot holes too and stuff. And I can't think of another, like, going to a theater and seeing a Chris Nolan movie. I know is going to be a pretty epic experience. I can't think of another director that would just be like, oh, maybe the Russo brothers. I tell you what, I will put the Russo brothers up there with him because of what they did. You know what, though?
I will say, outside of Marvel, I'm not really thrilled with anything they've done. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, because I mean, all they've done is made that 21 Bridges movie with
Chadwick Boseman, and that was good. Did they direct that?
No, they just produced
they
it
were
with
producers,
their Agbo. Yeah, they made Agbo, and then they also did the Agbo. Is their production company they set up right after Endgame, and then they did the Extraction movie with Chris Hemsworth. Just produced,
which
that
I thought.
As well.
I mean, I thought that was a good flick. Yeah, it wasn't anything special, but I mean,
when you nowhere near the par of like a Christopher Nolan film.
Oh god,
you know what I'm saying?
No. Okay, yeah. But again, did they direct that one too?
No, they haven't directed anything. The first movie they're directing since Endgame is Cherry with Tom Holland. They wrote and directed that. I believe they wrote that movie. They are directing that movie as well.
Okay, so that's I mean, that's kind of I'm trying to gauge director to director. So when I take the movies, just their directing outings versus Chris Nolan's directing outings, at least I have faith that like I'm going to be seeing something.
Okay, well then I got one for you then.
Okay,
You, Me, and Dupree. That was the Russo brothers before.
Was it
before Marvel?
I didn't see that. I haven't even seen that. So that's
not a good film.
What's his name?
Jim Carrey.
What, the Wilson brothers?
Was that Jim Carrey or was that the Wilson? Well, Owen Wilson or Luke Wilson?
I think it was the Wilson brothers.
Was it?
Yeah, I thought it was one of the Wilson brothers.
Who was it? Either way, I love the Russos. So everything they did in Marvel was amazing. Like,
oh yeah, in Community. I mean, Community was one of my
as well. Yeah.
favorite sitcoms there for a while. So yeah.
Yeah, it was Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson
That's
and that one fella.
Oh wow!
This fella here. I can't remember his name right now.
That guy. Yeah. That one fella.
Of course, he's not listed as the second one. Oh, there he is. Matt Dillon. There it is.
Matt Dillon.
Yeah, not a good film. Even not very good. Not a very good film there. But
those Sith eyes.
Either way. No, I'm very excited to see what the Russos do going forward, though, and that's why, like, Cherry looks really great. Like, and I think I think that's going to be a good movie.
Tastes good too.
Sure. Cherry does taste good. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. But,
yeah, well, so that's my director, but yeah, we can get back to the topic at hand. But yeah, I would definitely.
No, it's hard to come up with one that's on the par of a Christopher Nolan. Like, Rick probably had the best ones to throw out there. I mean, we had Spielberg and then Scorsese. They are still making movies today, right? Now.
Spielberg was John,
but I prefer, like, over both of those. I think Nolan's more my taste. You know what I mean? Like, the movies he makes, they speak to me a little bit more than, not that any other ones are bad. Like,
he's like a modern Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna say that, like.
Yeah, nice pull.
Yes, Spielberg has made phenomenal movies. So it's kind of the same thing. If someone's gonna say Spielberg is the greatest director ever, I'm not arguing. Like it's a good art. Yes, you can say that, and I wouldn't disagree. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
but with Christopher Nolan, his tenure with Warner Brothers is looking like it's over at this point in time. So ever since the Warner announcement that they were going to be releasing all of their films in 2021 on HBO Max and in theaters, the day and date release on streaming. Obviously, a lot of directors and actors, as people in the business associated, even people who weren't directly associated with Warner at the time, who like actually weren't affected by it, spoke out against the distaste in it, which kind of
Sure.
just goes to show you how like of just an unpopular kind of, I don't know, unpopular opinion uh, for their decision to do this. It just wasn't. No one was really on board with it other than Warner and AT&T. Put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And I think more shockingly, I think, at least in my opinion, was when the news came out that Warner didn't even tell anybody. Like they didn't tell their talent, they didn't tell the directors, they didn't tell any of the actors. Like
They
some
just
of them
did
may
it.
have known, but on a global scale, they didn't tell anybody this was going to happen. Like I think Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan were the first two who like were affected by it in some way, because Tenet had already been released, so like his like Nolan's movie, it wasn't directly affected by this announcement, but he's had a long-standing relationship, pretty much like an exclusive relationship with Warner Brothers. So it affects him going forward.
Sure.
Ergo, he's not happy with it and left. Denis Villeneuve, who has Dune coming out, wrote a big letter and got it published in one of the major trades, speaking out against this decision of theirs as well. And so to me, this was no surprise that like once they made this announcement and then Nolan made his comments about how much, like, I remember his quote was like,
The worst streaming service.
yeah, all like every director
That's
and
rough.
actor went to sleep thinking that they were working for the best movie production studio in the world, and they woke up working for the worst streaming service.
Yeah, that's harsh.
It was like,
That's real.
damn, like he was like spitting fire. Which really like, and I take issue with that because HBO Max is a damn good streaming service. They may not have the best numbers, but they got arguably the best content.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I get where he's coming from, 100%, because it's just like you just give him a
Well,
middle finger.
And when I heard this news originally, I thought, well, I mean, this is a pretty big stand to take just because you don't like the decision in principle. I mean, it doesn't actually affect any of his movies. And then I got to thinking about it, all that stuff you just said, I'm sure plays into his decision, because he's probably afraid the next movie I make there, what's to say, like, 2 months before it comes out, they decide, you know what, that worked pretty well for us. Even if his next movie doesn't come out till 2023, what's to say that HBO or Warner Brothers doesn't decide, hey, we're just going to put your movie straight to video too, even though when you signed and decided to make it here, we said it was going to the cinema. That all happened with all their releases for this year, and they just kind of pulled the rug out from underneath the people that made them. So I'm assuming that fear of them doing this to him is kind of what's motivating this.
Well, and that's actually a good point, and because like to play devil's advocate to that, going forward, it'd be honestly something as easy as if Nolan was negotiating his contract for his next movie, put in the contract that this does not get a day and date release. It does a 3-month run in cinemas, or we're not doing it. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, it's done. Like, it's like, most of them have most contracts, every contract is different, but most contracts do have some form of release schedule in the contract on where, like, how many theaters it's going to go into. Is it going to be a day and date release? Whatever. A lot of that is already like actually in the contract as it is. So like, it was like that with Wonder Woman rather, and that's why they had to go and pay out Gal and Patty Jenkins.
Yeah,
sure.
Because they had back end points, and that's where it like that's where it primarily comes into effect, because a lot of these contracts prior to this, because this wasn't really an issue before. No one had to worry about their movie maybe being a straight to streaming movie. Like that wasn't really a thing until the current situation we're in now.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to cannibalize their box office just for the sake of streaming.
Yeah,
because box office was huge.
Yeah, I mean, it was essentially like it's not really free money, but like that's where you would get your money.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what's going to
Sure.
pull in the most amount of
yeah,
money.
exactly. And that's like, so most contracts like obviously wouldn't have had that explicitly in there, but now all you'd have to do is just add that in. Because where it really comes into effect with a lot of these current films is anyone like with Gal and Patty, for instance, on Wonder Woman, they just had in their contract that they would get back end points on like every $100 million the movie made, they got $1 million. That was in the contract. So with Warner Brothers exclusively putting this thing out on HBO Max, kind of f's up their little deal there.
I feel like a lot of
Sure.
it too, like just the income that a lot of big movies draw, big movies draw, and it's all from the cinema. You know, like this is
that's
a whole
big
new
money.
thing with the streaming services, and I just don't feel like you're going to see those kinds of numbers anymore if it's all going to streaming.
Yeah, and that's the problem because and that's been my biggest fear about the movie theater going experience in itself like can't be replaced with my biggest fear of like everything being pushed to streaming is that you don't get those big returns. Like you're
You're not
not
going to see
gonna make
100
$1 billion
million.
off putting your movie on HBO Max. Like you
No.
don't get that $1 billion in 3 month, run, right? You could Warner Brothers could end up making $1 billion off of HBO Max in a year. Like that's easy. Like that's fine. But you're not getting that right when it happens. So if
from
you're
the individual movies,
exactly, and if the movie's not able to make $1 billion back, like explicitly, like this movie made $1 billion, then you're no longer going to get a $200 and $300 million like Avengers movie. You're not going to get
Yeah.
that because if they're not going to be able to get $1 billion return on it, then the studios aren't going to put in $150, $200 million to make the movie. And that's always been my fear is like, if these studios aren't making money off of it, then it's going to make the content suffer. Not that
Yeah,
every movie
yeah.
needs to be $100 million, $200 million, but some do. Like you can't have Endgame and make it for $50 million. You just can't do it. So that's been my big fear with it happening is just aside from the theater experience dying out, just getting subpar content is my biggest concern. So,
Sure.
but yeah, so this was no surprise to me, him leaving though. But again, I do feel like it's a little bit hasty, and it's like literally nothing that just going forward can't be negotiated because in the end too.
Yeah,
Like John, you froze by the way. But before I
Okay.
forget, I was gonna say, who's to say if theaters are even going to be around in 5 years for Nolan to even be making a stink about this? Because that's the
True.
unfortunate truth we're leading into with this is like movie theaters are like, especially now, like it's very questionable whether or not they're going to be able to just
Continue,
pick back up.
yeah.
Yeah, and they've already been on the decline in a lot of ways. Like they've had the biggest box office like ever in the past couple of years, but when the pandemic hit and the streaming thing's becoming more and more regular, the writing's been a lot on the wall, just like a lot of the your physical media, right? Your Blu-rays, your 4Ks, like they're dying out, and theaters are like kind of following that same trend where pretty much the only movies, big theater movies are your big blockbusters. And you know what I mean? Back in the day,
Sure.
everybody goes see anything, but nowadays it's like, well, we go out for the big ones, but we don't really want to go and spend all this money just to go watch. I mean, that's just where it's going. So it's like, as if the theaters are even going to be around 5 years for it's. I just think it's a bit hasty.
Yeah.
A bit hasty when it's just something you could easily put into your contract and be like,
I
I'll
wonder.
make your
I
movie,
wonder.
but goes in
Yeah,
theaters.
I wonder if Nolan's just afraid that because, like you said, some of these, like with Wonder Woman, they were contractually obligated to pay them out for the box office run of it. So even if you do put a clause in your contract that says my next movie will run for 12 consecutive, at least at the bare minimum, 12 consecutive weeks in theaters nationwide before being, put onto any type of streaming, or even if you get some language in there like that. What's to say they just don't break the contract and pay whatever the penalty is? If it comes down to it, unless you have some wildly prohibitive clause, what am I trying to say? Payment that has to take place if they do that, which maybe the studio doesn't even agree to anyway. Maybe that's a deal breaker for them. That like we never pay you $1 billion just because we put a movie on streaming. So I'm just curious if there's something, if that isn't at play too in his thought process with this.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with when you're Christopher Nolan, you will get to make your movie.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know
You
what I
get to
mean?
go wherever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, like, if he wanted, because it's the same thing's happening with Dune. Like, Dune has to get that theatrical run. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's already been stated, like, it's going to theaters first. Like, and they almost had to go to, like, they avoided the lawsuit from Legendary Pictures because of, they had, Godzilla and then Dune were both, like, over 75% funded by Legendary. They weren't even funded by Warner Brothers. So, like, they were gonna take them to court. They settled on Dune's gonna go into theaters, and then they had to pay $200 million to Legendary just so they could put Godzilla vs. Kong on HBO Max and in theaters. So,
Damn.
I don't know, it's just, it'd be easily enough. They could just, it's like, it just go in your, it would go in the contract. Like, I think Warner Brothers, and like anybody, would just do whatever the hell Christopher Nolan wants them to do. They already were letting Christopher Nolan do whatever the hell he wanted to do. Like, so I get where he's coming from in principle. Like, he just doesn't want to work with a company who's kind of lost its way. I totally respect that. And I mean, and every other studio is going to be in a very good place because now someone else gets to make Christopher Nolan money with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like it's in some ways like all for nothing, because he could just, like, they would bend over backwards for him. So, like, who really cares in the end? Like, he'd still get his way, but I totally get it on a principle standpoint. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it doesn't affect me either way. Like,
No,
I'm not
you're
working
still
on
going to
the
get your Christopher Nolan.
yeah, I'm still getting the Christopher Nolan movies when they come out. I don't care who the corporate label is with it. Like, I just want to see the Christopher Nolan movie. So, as long as he's happy, then I'm good, because that'll make him make a better movie. You know, like, I don't want him to be worried about all the BS and not, have it, like, kind of make his movie suffer more than anything. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not surprised. Were you guys at least surprised with this all? Or were you with me? You just like, yeah, I figured this would happen.
Yeah. I mean,
I
You
guess
agree.
I kind of it wouldn't, just because obviously I have a fond connection with Chris Nolan and WB just from the Batman movies, and I felt like that. I felt it's going to be weird to see a Christopher Nolan movie without that WB logo popping up first, kind of like when Star Wars lost the
Fox fanfare,
fanfare before it.
Mm.
It was an odd experience. I think that will be that way with the Christopher Nolan movies if he does go somewhere else. Plus, there's this, in the back of my mind, there's a lot of DC properties out there. And, I thought maybe one day Chris Nolan would decide, hey, I'm going to take on some other superhero since, in my opinion, did such a great job with Batman. Right. So,
well, this was funny too.
If he moves away, it seems less likely that would happen.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there was a rumor from one of, whatever, gas station article, newspaper rumor kind of thing, right? Where they said, like, Christopher Nolan looking to, like, go back to the Dark Knight trilogy and do another installment in it and, like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, he just cut ties with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Like,
how's that going to happen?
Yeah, don't listen to your source. So whoever, like, broke that story, like, quite off the radar with that one. Sure. But anyways, guys, what do you think about this? Were you surprised by Christopher Nolan coming out and cutting ties with Warner Brothers at all? Really came no surprise. In some ways, I don't really think it matters. For fans, I don't think it matters at all. We just want Christopher Nolan movies, and we want Christopher Nolan to be happy. So if this is going to make him happy, then by all means, do it. But to play devil's advocate, he could get whatever he wants out of Warner Brothers. He's already proven to do so. So, I mean, I respect that he stood up to his principles and he's going at it from that route. So, like I said, whatever makes him happy, just go on with it. So, whatever you guys think, let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys. So, our next topic here is a recent release here from another kind of not unsurprising thing in some ways, if you will. But Sony has come out and delayed a bunch of their upcoming feature films. Starting with some notable ones, we have Uncharted, Ghostbusters, Morbius. What else? And apparently, I think the biggest piece of news that came from this is that Sony, I had no idea they're actually making their own live-action treatment of Cinderella. I had no idea they were doing that. I don't really know why, because with movies like that, it's like, the Disney one is such a timeless classic. They've already done their live-action one. What new angle do you even have to make it, like, compelling? It's, I just don't know. It's obviously I'm not the target demographic for a Cinderella movie, so
I don't know about that.
I just don't know. I mean, they like my shoes. I'm a
Yeah,
big fan of
glass
shoes.
though.
So
That just seems dangerous.
it does. But either way, yeah, so we got these all being delayed. I think one thing I took away from this most notably, other than the Cinderella thing that completely took me off guard, but like I said, don't really care, not the demographic. But they did not move Venom. There is no news of them moving Venom. And I was telling John this earlier, though. My theory behind this is the fact that everything else that they've moved is Ghostbusters Afterlife kind of is in a gray area here, but everything else is a new installment of a franchise. Whereas Venom is the second movie. So I feel like they want to give Uncharted and Morbius a better chance of being successful as opposed to like Venom. They would kind of have some confidence in that whoever could go to the theaters more than likely would go to the theaters, and it'd be better for them to have kind of an already established franchise come out in this current climate as opposed to trying to launch a franchise right now, because it's like people are
risky.
Yeah, it's very risky. It's already risky for them to put out Venom, but at the same time they do need to start making money off of these things, because as everyone may not know, but the studios don't have this hundreds of millions and billions of dollars laying around. They have to take loans to pay for these movies as well. So they kind of need to get money back themselves so they can start paying on the loans, or at least pay them off so they don't have to keep paying on them and accruing interest and everything. So that's kind of my theory with it, though. But we could very well get another announcement soon that Sony has in fact delayed Venom or pushed it back further. Like, who knows? Because there was just news that James Bond got pushed back again and everything. And I think the crazier thing is that they pushed Morbius back all the way to January in 2022.
Yeah,
like that movie was
that's a long time.
It was supposed to come out this year, or no, it was supposed to come out in 2020. And Venom was supposed to come out in 2020. Yeah. We're gonna have to wait till 2022. Like, that's a long time. What do you think about this, Rick?
I mean, is it surprising?
No,
the climate of what's going on.
No, it's definitely not. I'm bummed though, because I want to watch Morbius.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Venom still coming out. I love Venom 1.
Yeah, I really want Venom to come out.
Yeah. What's the release date for that?
I don't know off the top of my head. Let me see.
Because I want to see some carnage.
Yeah, some carnage. See some carnage. Hold on. When does it come out? Venom 2.
It'd be weird to see Woody Harrelson as such a savage villain.
I know, but natural born killers.
That's true.
I mean, he can play a creepy dude, man. I love Woody Harrelson, dude. He's great, and like he was awesome in God, what was the HBO show with Matthew McConaughey? True Detective. He was great in season 1 of True Detective. He's great in Zombieland, dude.
He was good in Solo.
Yeah, he was great in Solo, dude. Woody Harrelson's just great. So I'm hoping that he has a lot of fun. I mean, I feel like he would have had a lot of fun with playing Cletus Cassidy. I mean, dude, Tom Hardy looked like he had a ton of fun playing Eddie Brock, and like you could tell. I mean, it was great. Like, Venom 2 Venom wasn't the best movie in the world.
I thought,
but it was good fun.
Oh yeah, it was very fun.
It was a fun movie. It was decent. Like, it was kind of lacking on the plot, I guess, but like the way Tom Hardy portrayed Eddie Brock and like the interplay he had with Venom, like I thought was great.
I like that.
It again wasn't like groundbreaking. It's like been done before, but he did it very well. And like it looked like he was having a lot of fun. So I'm very excited for Venom 2. So right now that's coming out still on June 25th. So
exciting.
We'll see.
Was that the last one in this string of movies that they delayed? Like, was Uncharted supposed to hit before that, and was where were the other
hit
ones
before Venom?
Yeah.
No, because Venom and Morbius were both supposed to come out in 2020, and now Morbius is getting pushed back till 2022.
Uncharted. What was Uncharted's release date before this latest, though? I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if they're moving everything like for the next
July 16th.
Okay, so it was after. It was technically supposed to be after. So yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't. Even though it's a sequel, and even though I just don't. Marvel hasn't moved Black Widow yet, but there's been reports that they're going to be moving it. I don't see these movies sticking to these dates. Now, maybe we get to spring. Maybe the vaccine gets rolled out quicker. maybe there's better coverage, and we see Black Widow kick off a resurgence of people going to the theater, and they hold the date. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him delayed, even as close to a month out from release, for them to come in and say, I understand that they have to get the marketing materials out and get promotions out and stuff, but
and it's expensive to market the movies too. So it's like they're going to spend $100 million marketing it. They kind of need to make some money, and if people can't go to the theaters, it's just throwing money away.
Yeah.
But I'm curious though, because of what you were just saying, like when Morbius was supposed to come out before it got moved, because they had Uncharted.
Morbius was rescheduled for March of this year. Because wasn't Morbius supposed to come out last October? It was supposed to be a Halloween type movie, I thought.
Yeah, they've really
which made sense.
Yeah, so was Venom. They were supposed to come out around the same time.
Okay.
Because I think Morbius was September and Venom was October. It's one of the two. I think it was something like that. But yeah, it's weird though that I guess maybe. Well, it's kind of odd that they decided to move Uncharted, but it was initially slated to come out in July, which is after Venom 2 coming out in June, but they're keeping Venom 2. So that kind of goes with my theory of them not wanting to try to launch a franchise right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, why would you?
And that may be exactly what it is. I was just speculating that maybe it also is just that those movies, like you said, they're insuring themselves against failure for that by moving those, and maybe, but they still, I don't think just because it hasn't gotten moved yet means that it won't be moved. I think it's more of they're going wait and see with that one.
Right. You froze up again.
Frozen.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is I'm really on the ball today.
Whoa!
Tripping, man. Tales from the trip.
Tales from the trip.
I'm dipping out of the frame.
It's all good though. It happens. It's the interweb problems, dude. Again, if anyone's caught the streams for the past 3 weeks, I've had RTX voice crash on me right when it started, so no one can hear what the hell I'm saying. It happened again today when I went to start doing the show. So I'm hoping that once I get my 3090, which was my other good piece of news that happened on Friday, that this stops happening. But at the same time, it's a piece of software that really has nothing to do with the hardware. So I don't know. I'm hoping not, though.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. But either way, what's out of these movies that are being released? What's your most anticipated? Out of Uncharted, Venom 2, Morbius, what are you guys most excited for?
Mine would be Venom 2 for sure.
Yeah,
just because I'm a sucker for Venom, but
Venom's great, man. It's definitely between Venom and Morbius for me, honestly, because that Morbius trailer kind of
looked good.
It looked good, but the Spider-Man tag and then fucking Michael Keaton showing up, I'm just more. I got to know what's going on, man. I got that, so I'm really excited for that to see what the hell's going on. So it's got that going for it.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna hit the trifecta. If you would commit to Morbius, then we'd hit the trifecta because mine's Uncharted.
Yeah, there we go.
I love those games so much, and Venom was for me personally. Venom was a fine movie. I still,
it's okay.
I take issue with the with the lack of Spider-Man being involved in Venom's origin, and
yeah, that's
they made it work. The liberties.
Though. Sure,
I'll
sure,
give them
it
that
worked.
Much. Yeah, they made it work.
It worked. It's just disappointing, that they couldn't figure out a way to make it work more closely.
To that point, especially now that it seems like they are combining those universes, that it's like a missed opportunity now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like a wasted movie because it's like, well, you could have just had Peter Parker in the damn movie.
And they had Tom Hardy, who did such a good job, and they missed. I understand Venom's like an anti-hero in it and whatnot, but there was some real. Venom was a very sinister and very, very intimidating character, and I didn't, I kind of, he takes down the thug in the convenience store, and I kind of get that from some of it, but I wanted to see him more play up the not, I guess, the bad, the evil. He's not evil, he's an anti-hero, but just that more sinister side of him I was hoping to see more of, because we got such a poor version of Venom
In
in
Spider-Man
the
3.
in Spider-Man 3. I was
Right.
really hoping that they would kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like I almost wish that they could somehow amalgamize the two Venom characters. And I think somewhere in there between
Right.
everything we've gotten so far is my perfect interpretation of Venom. But anyway, we're getting, like you said, they're merging the universes. Hopefully, we're getting Carnage. So maybe this is, maybe that was just the first step on getting Venom right, and maybe we'll have that with.
Well, to your point though, with him being not as villainous as a lot of people are used to. We'll put it that way. I think we missed out on that with the Spider-Man involvement, because I bet if they could have had Spider-Man be a part of it, the first movie would have more than likely been about him being a bad guy, and then Eddie trying to like make him not be a bad guy, or maybe leaning into it a little bit, but then Peter comes in and like makes that not happen by the end, and then at the end he's an anti-hero now. I mean, they work together and beat whatever. I can't remember what the gray symbiote's
Like
name
Rage
was.
or something.
Yeah, no, Rage was like the orange one. It's supposed to be on a girl, and it never happened. I
Okay.
can't remember what the hell his name was.
Riot.
It was Riot. That's what it was.
Riot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's same as BVS and Godzilla versus Kong. They do their team up at the end, and then the next movie would have been more of him stopping the thug at the end of the movie. And
Sure.
eating chocolate and stuff. Like that would have been it. But I really liked it either way.
They made Venom a likable character.
Yeah.
They made it very humanized, and
yeah,
I think
they
that's why I
definitely
like
made him your friendly neighborhood Venom.
friendly neighborhood.
And that's what they made him. So hopefully, though, we get that Carnage with Carnage. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully that kind of fills that villainous void. Because I am worried about them making Carnage not like Carnage. Because like you got Woody Harrelson playing him, which it could go one of either way. They could have directed him to get the laughs and be a little bit more funny, because he could do that. But he can also be really creepy and villainous, so I don't know. I'm hoping he's a serial killer. So like he's not, but at the same time, I will say Ted Bundy was a very charming guy. So like I never met him, but I've watched a lot of stuff about him, and you don't get that close to women without being a charming guy. It's a very noticeable thing that like he was just a normal ass dude who happened to kill a lot of people. So I mean, I could see them playing into that as well. So we'll have to see. I just hope it's good. That's really all I hope for. So the question is, guys, what do you think about Sony delaying all of these films, and what is actually your most anticipated of the delays here? It looks like we are going with the big three, the big obvious three of Uncharted, Venom, and Morbius. But let me know. Maybe yours was Peter Rabbit 2. Maybe you're disappointed that's being delayed. Maybe it is the Cinderella movie. Whatever it is, let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys. So we are going to get into our next topic here. But before I do, I'm sure you're probably wondering, like, wow, Rob, that was a very quick wardrobe change. Like, how do you just have this stuff laying around? What's going on? Or is this pre-recorded? What's going on? But the answer to that question is yes. We do pre-record the show. We do it on Saturdays because we have regular jobs during the week. So it's really, this is the best time that we can get around and we can all come together and actually do the show and everything. We'd love to do it more. We'd love to do it live, but obviously schedules don't always work out that way. But long story short here, if you have caught the last couple of streams that I've had, for instance, I've been having some issues with RTX voice, and if you're not familiar with it, it's essentially just software from NVIDIA that provides noise cancellation. So you run your microphone, essentially you trigger it to go through RTX voice, and then it removes background noise, and you get a nice little, it's just a great piece of software for what it is, and it being free and everything. But for whatever reason, for the past couple of weeks, I've been having issues to where it just stops working. I get no notification whether it stops working. And when it stops working, no sound comes through my mics. So then I have to force kill the software, reload it, and everything normally works fine. Well, we ran into that when we were filming, and I actually went through and reinstalled RTX voice and just hoping that there was a new version of it. There wasn't. But when we came back in, John and everybody we could all hear each other. We continued the show, and didn't pick up me and Rick's mic because Rick's actually in studio, so he's coming through the same system that I am. John's we pull him in remote, so I mean he was good. We recorded the rest of the show, like an hour or so more of the show, and the only audio we got was John's. So I'm gonna continue the show. I'm gonna redo. I'm at least gonna cover all the segments and everything that we did go over. Unfortunately, we're not gonna have Rick or John's commentary on it. This is gonna be mine. But I want to make sure the show actually gets done and like stick to that schedule of it being out every Monday for everybody. So I'm gonna go through, and I guess one positive note that we can kind of say, if we want to call it a positive, wasting all that time doing the show. I'm more upset. Like I'm kind of upset about it for a couple of reasons. One, we had a really good show. I thought we had really nice banter, and we had some good things to talk about. Like because we had the difference of opinions, everything, and we do the. I mean, right now we're doing the WandaVision spoiler discussion, and it's not really the same when it's just me giving my own spoiler like kind of discussion over it, and it's having the second person there, especially like or second and third person. But especially with like John, me and Rick are kind of in the same page with WandaVision, but John comes at it from a completely different angle, like kind of like the Wonder Woman 84 review. Like Rick still hasn't seen it, but if you go back and watch our spoiler discussion of Wonder Woman 84, John loved it and I did not. So I like having the additional commentary there because we have difference of opinion. It creates a much better discussion and everything. Else it's just me giving my thoughts and like I'm a nobody. You know what I mean? At least when there's other people there, at least a group of nobodies makes it a little bit more fun, right? But anyway, the one kind of blessing in disguise, I guess, was that now we have reached Sunday. So the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer came out. So I at least can kind of give my thoughts on this, and it's definitely something that I'm excited to see. I did not really care for Godzilla vs. Kong, or not Godzilla, haven't even seen Godzilla vs. Kong yet. I did not care for Godzilla King of the Monsters. I thought it was a step down from the first one, and the first one being Godzilla. Kong Skull Island, even though it's like it's obviously part of the same franchise, quote unquote, it felt so disconnected from it. Like you really had like no indication of it actually like going to be part of the overall like monster verse. Like it's very intrinsically its own movie in most ways, like aside from a couple references here and there. But Kong Skull Island I thought was fine overall, nothing that blew me away. The first Godzilla movie, I actually did really like it. I wish there was just a little bit more Godzilla in it, but what you did get of Godzilla I thought was pretty great, and I did like the approach that they took with kind of keeping him. The best thing about it, I'll just say, is like you got a real great sense of scale. Like the way they shot like Godzilla in that first movie, you knew he was just this massive, giant, imposing force. And they really never had really any wide shots of just like him sitting there. They always had they had a couple, but they did a really great job of framing him in such a way to where it just made him look so much bigger and so imposing, right? And then in Godzilla King of the Monsters, I feel like they just kind of threw everything they possibly could at the screen, just all the monsters there, and like it was really just like let's just throw all the kaiju's there. Let's throw the Pacific Rim things in here too, pretty much. Like that's pretty much what it was like. They just threw everything they freaking could at it. Like it's the whole kitchen sink metaphor, right? Which always reminds me, like in Batman vs Superman. Like I don't know if anybody like caught this nod. I don't know why. I just never think of whenever someone brings up the whole kitchen sink thing. I just always think of BVS now because like they literally had that scene when Batman was fighting Superman, and Bruce actually goes and grabs a kitchen sink and beats like just smashes it over Superman's head. So it's like they literally used everything, including the kitchen sink. But with the King of the Monsters, man, like the biggest weakness of that movie was the human story, right? And I think for most people, the biggest weakness of like the first one would be that there wasn't enough Godzilla. But I thought at least in the first one, the human angle and the human story was actually like coherent and it was good. But with King of the Monsters, it just wasn't. Like it just didn't make sense. Like the whole thing, like they were like the humans just had to like dump exposition out there and they focused too much time on them. And there was like, you had all these kaiju in it, right? And they still focused on the human stuff way too much. It's like, you definitely need to have a good balance for between the human stuff and then the monster stuff, obviously. But I mean, that's just what they missed out. There was no good balance to it. Like, and then what they did have them doing just kind of left a lot to be desired. It was just kind of like random stuff, like, oh, the Monarch, Monarch company's just gonna have, like, we got them all, and now we're just gonna let them go, and they're gonna kill everybody, and it was just so, I don't know. I didn't care for it. It looked great though. I will say I liked the look of it. I liked the look of all the monsters and whatnot. And with this one, I'm just hoping they find a much better balance. Like, I hope they find that like compelling story with the humans and then couple that with some real big action stuff, some big over the top Godzilla fighting Kong. And like, it looks like we're getting that a little bit, although, like, let's put it this way. I'm not concerned with being entertained by the Kong and Godzilla fight. I'm almost 99% certain that will be enjoyable because I'll even give Godzilla King of the Monsters that. Like, when it was focusing on the monsters, the movie really was fine. There was nothing amazing about it by any means, but it worked. It was fine. It was mainly the human side of things. And that's kind of the key, and why I say, like, finding that balance is what's most important, because for us, the audience, we need to feel like we're a part of it, right? We need to care about what's going on. Otherwise, everything that's happening is just visual noise. And that's why you need a good connection there. You need the humans in the world of the Kong Godzilla, world. We need to feel a connection with them. We need to care. And that's just something that the King of the Monsters did not do. And I thought the first Godzilla movie did do. I thought, like, I cared about, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character and everything he was going through and like what he was doing and all, like, I thought it worked fine. Too much of that stuff on the first one, of course. Not enough Godzilla, absolutely. But the second one was just like, all the human stuff sucked, and there was just way too much monster stuff going on, and I don't know. Again, but with this one, it looks like all the stuff we get from Kong and Godzilla looks like it's gonna be great. The only thing, again, I'm concerned about, and still even after the trailer, is that we still don't really know, and not that I wanna know right now by any means, it's just my concern, is, why they're fighting. Because at first, and I talked about this, like, prior, I just kind of assumed they were gonna, because they made the Monarch organization like such a big deal for whatever reason in the King of the Monsters movie. I just kind of assumed that they were gonna go the Mechagodzilla route and just had the Monarch company, after the events of Godzilla King of the Monsters, they make Mechagodzilla so they can control everything themselves, right? Like, even though Godzilla's a good guy and they all recognize he's a good guy, it's a bunch of, scummy humans who wanna be in total control, like, you know what I mean? That's just kinda how the world works in a lot of ways, unfortunately. So I've just assumed they were gonna go that route, which they still might, because we did report on this a while back, like, and not that this means everything, but there were toys for Godzilla versus Kong that had Mechagodzilla in them. Doesn't mean Mechagodzilla is gonna be in the movie necessarily, but you never know. It could be exactly an indication that Mechagodzilla is going to be in the movie. And it does make sense when you look at how, like, powerful and in control and power hungry even that the Monarch organization was in King of the Monsters. It does make sense to me that they would go that route of making Mechagodzilla, and that would be the whole BVS team up at the end, in the third act, when Superman and Batman inevitably realize that they're on the same side, and then they have to team up and take out Doomsday, right? Figure Mechagodzilla would be an easy way to do that, especially because they pretty much threw every other freaking kaiju monster at Godzilla and King of the Monsters. That's what I thought was so weird about it, too. Like, you had Godzilla versus Kong coming up, and it's not just gonna be them two fighting and then that's the end of the movie. Like, they're obviously gonna have that team up moment when there's the bigger and badder threat out there, right? Because, I mean, we all know Kong's a good guy and Godzilla's a good guy. Same as Batman and Superman, essentially. So we know they're gonna get together and take down the real baddies, right? So I just thought it was so weird. Like, why do you got like King Ghidorah and Rodan and Mothra? You got all these things in Godzilla's second movie. It's like, what the hell is Kong and what's Kong gonna do when he's there? They're just gonna fight, which kind of leads to the point of this, like I'm talking about now. I know I'm rambling on about this Godzilla thing. So I'm in some ways kind of glad that this got postponed, or I had to redo this part of the show because now I get to talk about this. And because one of the things that we were talking about on Saturday, I think last week too, was that they made this move of Godzilla from May to March, and it's just like, damn, dude, where's the trailer at then? This is like barely a month away at this point. And I said like, we'll probably have it within a week, and sure enough, that was a week ago. So here it is. But it's interesting because the trailer made me kind of think that they're actually not going the Mechagodzilla route, which I'm kind of glad, because I figured the Mechagodzilla route was kind of too easy and too obvious. I mean, hell, it was like one of the first theories that I had when they announced they were going to do Godzilla versus Kong, especially after King of the Monsters, because like I said, they already threw all the other kaiju at Godzilla alone in that movie. Unless they make a new original monster like the Mutos in the first Godzilla movie, maybe. Like, who knows? I mean, they could just be back at this. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But what seemed like they were doing in the trailer kind of sets up anyway, is that like something is wrong with Godzilla. Like he's confused, and like even Millie Bobby Brown's character says the same, says something along those lines, like something is like essentially triggering Godzilla, and it's like maybe there's something that they're not picking up that Godzilla is picking up, which is, I don't know. I don't know where they're really going to go with that, because that's kind of a flat story in some ways. Like there's some mystical brainwave going out there that's only affecting Godzilla, making him go crazy, but it's not affecting Kong, and it's not, it's just kind of weird. It runs the line of being a lazy plot device, is what it kind of does. Like, it's like just you need something in order for them to fight, because again, like I said, we know Kong's a good guy and we know Godzilla's a good guy, so it's just like a bunch of people sitting in a room like, well, what can we do to make them fight each other? Like, why would they fight each other if they're both good guys? Like, well, we could just make, like maybe maybe Godzilla's hearing some like brainwave or some frequency out there that only he can pick up, and then he'll just kind of go crazy for a little bit. I mean, it's kind of lazy if that's like literally all it is, and then like they find some big ass antenna satellite thing out there that is like somehow beaming a signal only for Godzilla to go crazy, like just oddly specific. You know what I mean? Lazy, a little bit lazy. I'm worried that that's what it is, and it's going to be a little bit lazy more than anything. But I actually am, though. That aside, I thought everything in the trailer looked great. Like, I thought the CG looked surprisingly, like, really good. What about surprisingly? But I just thought it looked good, because I mean, I will say the creature designs and the CG and like King of the Monster, I always thought looked good. I love Alexander Skarsgård, so I really hope they give him something to do, and he's not just like, again, like some of those like annoying, and not he in particular is like an annoying, but like the human story, I hope isn't just annoying. Like I hope it's not so much annoying as much as like empty and hollow, like it was in King of the Monsters. I mean, I hope they give the humans something to do that actually makes sense. In some ways, again, I could see it being Monarch making Mechagodzilla, or like something along those lines. Like maybe they could intertwine it too, to where the Monarch made Mechagodzilla and like powered him on, and he's something with like, it's part of Mechagodzilla that is causing Godzilla to go kind of like AWOL, right? Like maybe it's by design in that sense, because I could see that working out and being kind of like making a little bit of sense. Like, I don't know, it would kind of make the whole, I don't know, like what, I don't know, nothing really makes sense, honestly. I can't try to formulate what I think is going to happen based on the trailer. Like, I really just can't. In the end, though, I thought everything looked really good. I love the shot of Godzilla rolling in, just plowing right through the aircraft carrier. You had the nice shot of Godzilla, or not Godzilla, but Kong just gives him a haymaker, like right, and just with a big old right hook, just knocks his ass out right there. That's a great shot. And that's one thing like I am looking forward to is it looks like they are not shying away from some big ass wide shots here, like is in just all the action. I'm excited for that. Again, it looked great, like all the CG and everything. It looks really good. Like I didn't like see anything that looked kind of like, man, it looks kind of bad. Like no, it all looked really well. It all seems to work really well. That's the other thing I was kind of worried about is like, and a lot of people out there like are kind of speculating that. I mean, in some ways, it's kind of a one-sided fight for either one of them. Like Godzilla's got he can go nuclear, and Kong's just he's just a giant monkey, so giant gorilla, giant ape, whatever you want to call him. And how's he gonna withstand a giant like a nuclear explosion essentially, like right to the face? Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But again, these are giant monsters, so you kind of throw science out the window. So it's movie science we got to work with now. But then at the same time, you got someone like Kong who he's got opposable thumbs, my man. Like he stands upright. He's very quick and very agile. And like I was telling John and Rick, like, dude, all Kong's got to do, Kong's gonna want to get up close. He's gonna want to keep it tight, keep the distance from, make it a very close quarters combat. Sweep the leg on Godzilla. Godzilla just gonna fall over, and I'm sure he's gonna have a hell of a time rolling and standing up. Like, have you seen the way he's shaped? It's like when you knock over a turtle and they're just like flailing on their back and they're stuck there. It's the same concept, like with Godzilla, just bigger than a skyscraper. But for Godzilla, he's gonna want to stay at range, hit him with a nuclear breath, maybe bring him down in the water. That's where Kong's going to have some trouble. Godzilla is going to be able to swarm around like a little snake in the water. Or a little shark, like a giant shark, I guess you could say. And like that's where he's going to be at his best. Is at range, maybe pull him in the water if possible. But really though, anytime they're on land, I think Kong's going to be able to dodge nuclear breath fairly easily, and he can get up close. And like if Kong gets up close, I just don't really know what Godzilla's going to be able to do against him because he's just got the opposable thumbs, my man. That's why humanity and Homo sapiens are on the top of the food chain. We have opposable thumbs, our big old brains, at least some people out there, and like we're able to build stuff and whatnot. And Kong, he's one step below the brainwave function, of a human. He's a monkey, so like, they're pretty damn smart. Like. I don't know. So I just think like it could very well be like it's a toss up of who would actually win. And the one thing I am looking forward to is that the WB or Legendary, someone just producer of the movies, they did say that there is a definitive winner of the fight. So when they go toe to toe, they do have a winner. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about who's going to win down in the comment section below, because I think it's a toss up at this point. All right. And this was like the last final shot that was like really good, and like it really does kind of remind you of at least I thought about it, but it reminds you of the whole Thor in Infinity War hurling the hammer at the Stormbreaker at Thanos and just whoop, 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 whoop. But it does look like our boy Kong here does go for the head. So there's another thing too, like, and this is kind of my point, man. If Kong gets up in here, how's Godzilla gonna survive this? Like this would come on, like this would kill you. It's pretty much just like in all the freaking comic book movies when like Batman like in was it the beginning of the Dark Knight, right? When he takes down Scarecrow, like right at the beginning, the opening act of the movie, and he jumps down like what was it, like 4 or 5 stories and lands right on the freaking roof of his car, and it just caves in like where he was sitting, and like you see the car, like the whole roof like bent in. It's just like, okay, he's dead. Like you just smashed the metal hood of that car down onto the person. That would have hit his head, instantly snapped his neck. Like, I mean, it's just that kind of thing. Like that shot here of our boy Kong just freaking like jumping 40 feet with a nuclear charged axe or something, smacking Godzilla in the face with his mouth open. Like, he's dead. Like, he would die from that. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a freaking toss up, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm excited to see it though. Like, as you can see, like I thought that I would cover this for like 5 minutes, and like I was able to freaking rant about this for like 20 minutes, man. So geez, I'm excited for it. I hope it's good. I hope it's better than I hope it's better than all the previous films in the franchise, really. Like, not that it's like a super low bar by any means, because like I said, I did like the first one, and like Kong Skull Island was also fine. And then it's not like I didn't like King of the Monsters. It just I don't think it really lived up to like what that movie could have been. Especially, I don't really think it lived up to what it promised with having like literally like every other kaiju monster in there. I think it was kind of disappointing. You know what I mean? So whatever you guys think, though, let me know down in the comment section below. Are you Team Kong or are you Team Zilla? Let me know down in the comments. All right, guys. So our next topic here. I mean, it just wouldn't be the show wouldn't be the same, and we can't go 1 week without talking about the Snyder Cut or HBO Max or anything like that. I mean, we just talked about Godzilla versus Kong, but now keeping in theme here, with every week shilling out for the Snyder Cut and HBO Max. We're still waiting on that paycheck. Okay, still waiting on it. But we got our first look, our first kind of like new look at the Darkseid from the Snyder Cut, and like in his actual Darkseid form, like the scenes that we've seen from the trailers and all the like previous concept art and everything that's come out hasn't been him in his like actual Darkseid form. It was just when he was still referred to as Uxas. And the one takeaway that I got from this is like, well, one, I really like the design of everything. Like you can tell with the armor, keeps in theme with how like Steppenwolf's armor looks very like just metallic, right? It's just like looks like a bunch of like almost organic metal. You know, that's how the Snyder really does like design the um Apocalypse armor. And so I really like that, and I like that it's a much more classic appearance of Darkseid when he had like the little skirt and everything, and but with the little like organic living metals that Zach came with. So I'm really happy with that, and he got the the helmet, the little chin guard thing, and everything. Like it looks really cool. The only thing that oh yeah, and of course, if you notice when we talked about the other shirt, funnily enough, it's really odd that our real first looks at Darkseid, like our best looks, if you will, have been from T-shirts. Haven't gotten a new trail. Haven't seen him like a new trailer or a new like actual finalized render of what he's going to look like in the movie. Nope, it's T-shirts. That's how we've been getting our looks at Darkseid. I find that to be kind of odd, like in all honesty, because the only thing that we've seen, speaking of which, too, they even when it comes to a trailer and talking about the, how we were wondering when the King of the Monsters trailer was going to come out and everything, because like King of the Monsters, it got moved up to March, and then Zack Snyder recently announced that the Snyder Cut's going to be coming out in March as well. So you would think that an actual like full trailer would be coming up really soon for the Snyder Cut, because realistically speaking, we haven't really seen any new footage from the Snyder Cut, like at all. Like everything that we've seen in the trailers that have come out, for the most part, have been things that we've seen in some capacity. Like our look at Darkseid or Uxas was literally the same scene from the original Justice League film. It's just the Atlantean and Amazonian and man battle against Steppenwolf is how that appeared in the Justice League movie. And the only thing that's different about the clip from the Snyder Cut is just they replaced it with Uxas. So it's literally the same scene we've already seen, and he released pictures of that prior to it being added to the trailer. And it's the same concept. Like the only thing that was like new was what was already previously released, a scene with the Flash when he was saving Iris West. That was a deleted scene from Justice League. So I mean, aside from that, like maybe there was like a picture or a clip of Henry in the black suit, but again, he had released pictures of that too. So we haven't seen anything in the trailers that was actually new, which is interesting because I mean, Justice League was not 4 hours long, and the Snyder Cut is 4 hours long. So there's definitely got to be a lot of extra additional content and stuff that we haven't seen at all. So it is kind of odd that We haven't gotten a real like full trailer with any like actual new footage in some way. Not that I care. Like I'm good with what we got. I'm gonna watch the movie no matter what. I'm excited to see it. I've liked and I've really enjoyed all of Zack Snyder's DC movies, like some more than others. Man of Steel is a goddamn masterpiece. Um, so I mean, I'm looking forward to the movie. It just is kind of odd that we're like a month out at this point, a little over a month, and we still haven't really gotten the full trailer with a good big first look or anything. And the only thing that we've gotten Darkseid was just from some T-shirts. But nevertheless, if you caught when the previous shirt came out, we we mentioned that I wish I had the image I could pull up for you, but it was another video. But they had it was a render, or was it on the T-shirt? I can't remember. Either way, our boy Uxas had clearly been skipping leg day. And it looks like, based on this, the dude hit the gym. Like, the legs are looking better. They're looking more full. I like it. It looks a lot better than it did before. Not that it looked bad before. It's just, like I said, we haven't really gotten any good looks at this. And this is pretty much the best one we got. And it is odd that it's just from T-shirts still. So, I don't know, guys. But let me know what you guys think about this first look at this, I guess, new look at Darkseid in his full, apocalypse armor. True Darkseid form. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. All right, guys. So our next topic takes us over to a galaxy far, far away. Our boy Alan Tudyk, who I love, man. If you haven't seen, I mean, let's get into this topic first before I start ranting about how much I love Alan Tudyk. What happened was Alan Tudyk was doing an interview, and Alan Tudyk, he played K2SO in Rogue One. So he was kind of, even back when they announced doing this Andor show, both him and Diego Luna came out on stage and kind of made the announcement, right? They were there for the announcement of doing the Andor show, like in 2017, 2018, whenever that happened. And like Alan Tudyk even made the comment, like to Kathy Kennedy, he made it was more of a joke or anything, but he was like, yeah, I think we should call it K2 Fast, K2 Furious, and which was great. But it looks like we're not going to be getting K2 Fast, K2 Furious, because Alan Tudyk says that he's not actually in season 1 of Andor. So he goes on to say, I'm going to be in the show. It's just that the story that Tony Gilroy, who is the showrunner, or at least for the writer on it, is telling doesn't involve K2SO until later on. I can't be too specific, but I can definitely say that I'm not going to be in the first season. Which is disappointing in some ways, because I don't know about everybody else out there, but I think Alan Tudyk's K2SO was one of the best parts of Rogue One. I think it was the best. Rogue One could arguably be the best Disney Star Wars movie that we've had. I liked Force Awakens, the rest of the sequel trilogy, meh, and Solo was pretty good too, despite what everybody, despite not wanting it and nobody wanting a Han Solo movie without Harrison Ford. I thought the movie actually turned out to be pretty good. It was a pretty enjoyable film. That being said, again, K2SO was one of my favorite parts about Rogue One, so it is kind of disappointing that he's not going to be in it. Oddly enough, though, just have to bring everyone's attention to it. If you go down to IMDb, and you can't believe everything you see on IMDb, because a lot of it gets added just by, rumors, and it's unconfirmed, right? But it is interesting that he actually is listed as being in the first episode of Andor. No other episodes, but in the first one. Which is interesting, because I made the assumption initially that maybe they are telling they're kind of going over the backstory of Cassian Andor, right? Like maybe they're going to, because you have to understand. And one of the things I loved about Rogue One too, by the way, and is a lot of people out there have been kind of questioning, why are you making a prequel of a prequel, like a spin-off prequel of a prequel, and Andor being, Rogue One, which is a spin-off prequel of A New Hope, essentially, and then you're gonna make this Andor show, which is a spin-off prequel of a prequel, right? And it's why are you making this? And I would say to anybody who's kind of weary, or kind of like they were with Solo, why are you doing this? The Andor character and the time period it's in, and based on what we actually saw in Rogue One, and specifically with the Cassian Andor character, if you remember the opening scene, this was like one of also my favorite like aspects of the movie, was that you really got to see that the rebels had to get their hands dirty. Like it wasn't always, let's have a rebellion, everybody, and we're gonna go take down the empire and the bad guys, and we're gonna win because we're the good guys. No, like there was a gray area there. Like in the opening shot of Rogue One, or the opening scene rather, like Cassian Andor had to kill his informant so that they wouldn't be caught by Imperial troopers. And that's a side of like the rebels that we haven't really been able to see. Like it hasn't been shown on screen anyway. Like everything's kind of been like fun and rainbows with them. Like we know they're the good guys, yay! But the movie's called Star Wars, and like you get your hands dirty when you're in a war. So like there's a lot of interesting and compelling things they could do if they live in that world a little bit. So my initial thoughts with this was that they were going to explore the Cassian Andor character in a way that kind of like shows what took him from being whatever he was, a civilian prior maybe, and then joining the rebellion, right? Like see that that evolution of the character, and then because obviously K2SO is an Imperial droid, right? So like he'd have to be part of the rebellion in order to eventually meet K2SO. So it made sense to me that maybe Alan Tudyk and K2SO wouldn't be in the show till maybe the final episode of this first season, I would guess. And then that's when they would encounter him. You know what I mean? And he would find him and then reprogram him, and then we'd be off on our merry way in the second season. I don't know. That's just kind of what I assumed. But again, it is odd that of all the episodes that he is listed being on, it's in the first one. So I don't know. It kind of throws my initial theory out the window when it says he's gonna be in episode 1. But I guess they could always have like some sort of setup scene, and then like maybe he does talk to K2SO, then they flash back or something, and then they tell the story. Like I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see though. But I am excited for the Cassian Andor show, mainly just because, like I said, I really hope that they explore that gray area in the Republic or in the Rebellion, and really showcase that like this was like essentially dark times for everybody. It wasn't like all fun and games. Like not that it was fun and games before, but you know what I mean. Like they really didn't showcase any of that on screen. Anything that like the rebels had to do to get like their hands dirty like that. So like I think it really lends itself to telling a compelling story, because I in some ways I do though agree that like I don't really care for prequels all that much, because you inevitably know where everything ends. Like I'd much rather them move forward and telling the stories, as opposed to just, again, that's one thing Star Wars I've complained about many times, is that they just like to live in this little tiny playground of time, right? Like I'd love for them to go back to the old Republic, or move the story like years and years away, like tell new and interesting stories, and not everything has to be like about someone we know. This is a giant, massive galaxy, you know what I mean? A massive universe, and somehow every story that's told, you end up running into a character we already know, right? Like even Mandalorian starts, and it's this unknown character, and then there's Ahsoka, there's Boba Fett. Like, okay, there's like, you know what I mean? It's very familiar. There's a lot of like, no matter where we've been going in Star Wars, somehow all our characters know each other, right? And then, not to mention Luke Skywalker too. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know about you, but when I go outside, I don't know everybody, right? And I don't live in a galaxy far away with interplanetary space travel and warp speed and like light speed. We can't do that. And when I go outside, 99% of the time, I do not run into somebody I know in my own town. You know what I mean? So it is kind of like annoying in that way. Like I kind of just wish they would give us something new. That's why I love the Old Republic, dude. The Old Republic's its own thing. It's set so far back in the past, you can do whatever the hell you want. There's no way anything really connects. You know what I mean? I love the Old Republic, man. They really need to get on that. Of all the things that they haven't announced, man, they need to get on the Old Republic. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about Alan Tudyk saying that he's not going to be in the first season of the Andor TV series. Do you think he's just being coy, and maybe IMDb is correct and he is actually in the first one? Gonna have to wait and see. Here's an interesting one. are you even as interested in the show anymore if K2SO is not going to be a part of it? Because like I said, not most people, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know a lot of people really love the K2SO character. And the fact that, him and Diego Luna both came out on stage when the announcement happened at D23 or Star Wars Celebration. I can't remember which one it was at, but they were both there for the announcement. So everyone was very hyped that we were going to have both those characters back on screen, continuing their adventure, right? Well, I guess retelling the stuff that we didn't see in their adventure, because that wasn't a very happy ending for them in that movie. So, but yeah, are you even as interested in the show anymore in it of itself, with Alan Tudyk saying that he's not involved? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. All right, guys, so our final topic here is going to be my kind of spoiler review, my thoughts of WandaVision episode 3. Granted, like I said off the top, normally this is done with both Rik and Jon, but we had some technical difficulties and the audio wasn't recorded, so it's just going to be me giving my thoughts as opposed to our normal big spoiler discussion of it. So I'm going to keep it brief, just because, again, we didn't really learn much about anything in this episode again. But I'll get into it in just a minute here, because there is one thing I want to kind of address leading into the WandaVision discussion. And that is that Paul Bettany had recently done an interview stating that Avengers Endgame initially had a post-credit scene that he supposedly shot that would have showcased Wanda essentially opening up like a body bag or something, and then Vision being in it, and you see Vision. So what he says is, at one point there was going to be a tag where Scarlet Witch opened a sort of body bag drawer, and there was the Vision. And then Kevin Feige said, Kevin Feige said he kind of talked to me and said, I've got to pull the shots. And I was like, ugh, because I really wanted that profit participation. And it's interesting because if you remember, Endgame did not have a post-credit scene. It was pretty much the first MCU movie that didn't have one, at all. And a lot of people, it was pretty much suggested that, Endgame was the bookend, right? It was the end of, the 23 movies or whatever. It was the end, and maybe, part of it was, if you throw an end tag in there, it kind of takes away from the resolution, if you will, of the film. I guess the series, the Infinity Saga, if you want to call it that. And I get that, and that may have just been the reason. You didn't want to take the attention off of, the Cap ending, getting that dance with Peggy. It could primarily be it. What I think, because that was one thing I was kind of thinking, was well, why didn't they include this on the in-game bonus disc with the deleted scenes? Because there was 3 or 4 deleted scenes that they included on the in-game, special edition thing, the release of it. So that was kind of one thing I was curious about, was well, why didn't they have that in there? And the only thing I can think of is that mayhaps the script for WandaVision was not completed yet, and maybe if they included this scene in there with Wanda opening the bag and all that stuff, maybe they didn't want to pigeon toe or lock the writers and showrunners of WandaVision into having to explain that or pick up from that. I think that kind of makes the most sense, is that'd be the reason why they didn't include the scene and release the scene in general, right? Because if the movie would have ended with that, I mean, given how WandaVision kind of picks up, it really wouldn't have made too much sense. It wouldn't have done anything to really improve anything as far narratively speaking. Because again, we still don't really know what the hell's going on WandaVision even after the 3rd episode. You know what I mean? Still a lot of question marks. So yeah, that's really my best guess as to why this wasn't included. So I could really I guess take it or leave it. I'm really just going to depend on, I don't know, what more we learn about WandaVision, right? To where we could say maybe it would have been good, or maybe bad with it being there. You know what I mean? I don't know. Without knowing where everything's going, it's kind of hard to say whether or not the scene would have been any better if it was there, or if it was a missed opportunity to have it. I don't know. Either way, would have been an interesting scene, but granted, like I said, given the fact that it really, after seeing how WandaVision starts, we really don't need it. I mean, it would have done nothing to serve the beginning of WandaVision. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that down in the comment section below. But let's get into my thoughts here of WandaVision. And I gotta say, like I said off the top here, let me get situated here. This was definitely my favorite episode of the season so far. And it's like I said off the top as well, John like really loves what they're doing with this. And not to speak for him or anything, because we did just talk about this again. It was just unfortunately the audio did not record when we did it. But this was definitely my favorite episode, and the reason being is that we did get that end tag that kind of gives us a little bit of information as to what the hell's going on, right? Like, and we still don't know anything, but I felt like that end tag that we got did more for me than what the previous 2 episodes did, because like I've said before, the show has literally just been the sitcom land thing. And like, and they've been nailing the sitcom stuff. Like they did this, they did the 50s, they did the 60s, they did the 70s. They nailed the feel, the tone of the sitcoms of those eras. So it's definitely like every time I talk about it, I know it sounds like I'm not liking it and I don't like what they're doing with it. And that's not the case at all. And the best way I was trying to really explain it to John was that like I really like the Wanda and Vision characters, and I want to spend time with those characters. Like that's what I want to do. I want to see them. I want the show to be about them. And like my only kind of I guess gripe or it's more of a concern because like I said, it's all going to depend on how they stick this landing and where the story actually goes and what more we learn as time goes on. Because right now, everything we're getting is essentially fake. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that's happening isn't real. So like in some ways, I feel like I'm not getting the WandaVision show. Like it's like this, it's almost like, and John put it best, like in a really good way. Everything's kind of like a what if. Like it's like what if Wanda and Vision were in a 50s sitcom? What if Wanda and Vision were in a 60s sitcom? You know what I mean? Because like nothing that happens while they're in sitcom world really like advances the characters in any way because they're like literally being in a sitcom, you know. And then like you have these moments in episode 1 and 2. It literally was just moments of like reality happening, right? Like you see the helicopter thing was like one little thing, like, and that was pretty much it. And then like the very end scene with the the camera pulling back, and you see someone sitting in front of computer monitors, but you get no answers to like what and why. And then like you have Wanda here, who like whenever something kind of doesn't go the way she wants it to go, she just undoes everything and just rewinds time or resets Vision, like and I just feel like I just want to spend time with Wanda and Vision, and like even though we are in some ways, we're really not because it's all fake. You know what I mean? It's all like an illusion. It's nothing that's actually real. So it's interesting. And that's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's just I hope it continues to like get better, as I think it has been. I think every episode's been better than the one before. So it's like again, it's just really going to come down to how they stick the landing and what the actual story is. Because really, when it comes to this episode here, what really stood out to me, and what I said about this episode 2 was when that radio scene happens, right? And you hear the voice come in that says, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Wanda, like who's doing this? Like Wanda kind of breaks character when that happens, right? And then when she breaks character, when she's no longer playing up the whole sitcom fantasy thing, like she actually breaks character and goes back to like essentially modern Wanda, right? When she breaks character, so did the woman who was holding the glass. And as she broke character, like she crushed the glass, started bleeding, and then like she didn't know what was going on. Like she was all freaked out, like what's going on, like whatever. And then Wanda immediately like got back into character. Then she moved on. The woman who broke the glass. So what it seems like, uh, this is what I said last week. Is like I feel like everyone there, they're not illusions. Like they are literally there being affected by Wanda. Like Wanda is manipulating reality, like in this little bubble. And the only thing like we like hasn't really been too clear is if it's being like if it was like spreading and it's being contained by Sword on the outside, because at the very end, Monica Rambeau gets ejected out, right? So you see, like there's like a perimeter over the Westview area, and like that's what I'm not 100% sure on, and we're not really supposed to know now, but it's just interesting that it seems like there is the area there that's under the spell, if you will, and then anybody who enters it is affected by Wanda manipulating reality, because that's like that scene with Monica Rambeau after Wanda gives birth to the twins, and like again, Wanda starts to break character during that scene. So she's in there, she starts like singing the Sokovian lullaby to the babies. She mentions to Monica Rambeau's the character, I think her name's Geraldine. When she's in the sitcom world and everything, they refer to her as Geraldine, but we know it's Monica Rambeau. But like you can see her being like confused, like she like not that like she just like doesn't know what's going on. It's like she does know something. Like she knows that she's like coming in and out of like reality. Like you just see it on her face. You know what I mean? Like she starts like trying to think. Because like Wanda mentions Pietro, that she was a twin and her brother's name was Pietro, and then like you start seeing the wheels start turning in her head, and she's like, yeah, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? And then Wanda gets pissed off. Like she's like, what are you what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you shouldn't be talking about that. This is sitcom world. Like, we don't have time for that here. Like, no. And then she was gone, right? So it's like whenever Wanda snaps out of it, and like whenever she breaks character, it's like the spell, it's like an area of effect ability, right? Like she is literally manipulating the reality around her, and anybody who's inside the bubble is affected by it, which again, we didn't really get any of that from the first two. Like we just didn't know what was going on. But like once this episode happens, like I'm starting to piece that information together. And like it might not be what's happening. Like it might be because a lot of people think that what's her name? Agnes is really Agatha Harkness, right? And I mean, it makes sense. Like there's Agnes, then Agatha Harkness. So yeah, I don't think that she's playing Agatha Harkness. I think it's just like a nod to the Agatha Harkness character in all honesty. But again, like the scene where this is a part that's confusing to where like maybe it could be Agatha Harkness though. When Vision's outside and you got Herb out there like cutting the herbs, but he starts going through the wall, which like a regular hedge trimmer can't do that. So that this is like another thing that kind of leans towards like, well, something's off, like like something's not right. But when that whole scene's happening, it's like the same concept. Like Herb almost looks like he's confused in some way, like he doesn't know what's going on. But then when Agnes comes out there and is talking to Herb, and Vision like comes back later when they're both out there together, it was really odd because Agnes seemed to like be on the up and up. She seemed to know what the hell was going on. Like she knew something was off, and like Herb was going to tell Vision something. Like we don't know what, obviously, but like when Herb was going to let this information out, Agnes was like don't say anything. Like you can't say it. Like don't say anything. But someone, in order for someone to be acting and be in that position, and like like in Agnes's position, and like showcase that kind of emotion in that scenario, they would have to be on the up and up. So it kind of does lend itself to credence. Well, maybe she is Agatha Harkness. Maybe she does have some ability to where she's not being affected by Wanda's reality manipulation, and she's like resisting it and is able to like, and she's just actually acting in there, like she's playing a character as opposed to everyone else who is literally like being bent to the reality around them, and they're forced to go through and be in the sitcom world because that's what Wanda's doing, you know what I mean? Whereas Agnes seemed to explicitly know like that something was off, and then granted, that would also mean that Herb knew something was off because he was the one who was actually going to tell Vision something. So, like, maybe both of them are on the up and up here, and maybe, like, Agnes really is Agatha Harkness, and she has, like, a spell herself that is making her resist and making Herb resist. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like a protection spell or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but like that stuff is what I really liked, and that's what I was really hoping I would get more of that stuff out of the first 2 episodes. Because I'll end it with really what because I liked it overall. So I mean, I'm not going to keep going on to spout out random theories about it by any means. I'm just really looking forward to learning more. So like that was the one thing that like I told Rik and Jon was that I can totally see why they released episode 1 and 2 together, and then the third episode, the one we just got, coming out, on its own, because I really do feel strongly that if they would have released episode 1 and then you had to wait 7 days to get episode 2, that's 14 days of time and you would have like learned nothing. And like I could totally see how that would be a huge turnoff for a lot of people. Because like people like me, people like you guys out there who are like all about the superhero life, as War Machine would say, they got our money. We're gonna watch the show until completion, even if we don't like it. We all went to see Last Jedi. We all went to see Rise of Skywalker because it was Star Wars. Damn it! Like we're gonna watch it. It doesn't matter, right? But I could totally see if you literally have the general audience out there who's not into it like we are, right? Who's not like the super fans, the nerd boys out there. I could see them being turned off by it. I really could, because like just because you don't learn anything about what the hell's going on, you turn the show on and it's just, well, I know that's Wanda, I know that's Vision, but what the hell's going on? Like, why are they just doing the sitcom thing? And then the second episode comes around a week later, and you get the same thing, and you get no information as to like what's going on. Like, I could totally see that being a turnoff. So, like, I totally think that Disney did a fantastic job and were super smart to release the first 2 episodes, and then release the third one, because that one really, like, this past one, like, was really the most engaging one in my opinion. And it gave you a bigger glimpse into the overall big picture. And then kind of going along with that, it totally makes sense as to why they released all 3 episodes to the critics out there, because then for everybody who like us laymen's who only had the first 2 episodes to watch, we were able to sit there and get the critics out there were able to say, well, you guys just wait till episode 3. You know what I mean? Like without spoil. I'm sure there may have been some out there who spoiled it. I don't know. I didn't get spoiled by anything by any means. But like I think that was a very smart decision, because they like you had that. Because there was plenty of people that I watch on a regular basis who really kind of said the same, very similar thing, where it was just wait till episode 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like just wait. Like, and again, I think it really made sense, and I think it was a very smart idea on Disney's part to release the episodes in that fashion. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There's still obviously not a lot of answers, but I just hope that every episode going forward has as much like of that content that this one did. Because again, like I like everything that's been going on. I love it. But like in the end, it's like nothing is like, as far as the sitcom stuff, none of it's like mind-blowing sitcom stuff. Like none of it is like, I know you guys have seen Curb Your Enthusiasm and Seinfeld and Friends, but like that shit's got nothing on the jokes in WandaVision, dude. I'm telling you, know what I mean? Like that's not how it is. Like the sitcom stuff that's happening is just run-of-the-mill sitcom stuff. It's nothing that's like mind-blowing. It's nothing like new and innovative. It's just mediocre sitcom stuff. Like, and mediocre for everyone out there, like that's not a bad thing. Mediocre is just run-of-the-mill. It's just middle. Like it's not like excel and it's not bad. It's just mediocre, just in the middle. Like nothing bad about it, nothing great about it. Everyone thinks mediocre is a bad term, like, and you're like degrading the movie. It's like no, like, or the show. It's just no. That means it's like it's good. It's not bad. It's fine. That's mediocre. It's whatever. People put negative connotations on it for some reason. And it's like, no, guys, I'm just saying it's not like it's not 100 and it's not a 0. Like it's just somewhere in the middle. But anyways, I just hope that we continue to get that, because I'm really liking it so far. I think it's good. I just want more, because that was, again, like, my closing thought on it all is just that I like the Wanda and Vision character, so I want to actually, like, have that show. Like, I want to actually spend time with the Wanda and Vision character. And when you're in the fake sitcom world, you're not getting Wanda and Vision. Everything's fake, And that, so it's kind of like disappointing in some ways, depending on where everything goes, right? Like, I look again, so I hope there's a payoff. What I mean? They got to stick to the landing. That's what's really gonna, like, do things. You know what I mean? At least in my opinion. But nevertheless, I'm very excited for it. I think everything's good. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys think? What do you guys think about my theory there? Am I crazy? I just I'm not, like, sticking by it. I'm perfectly open to a bunch of other theories out there. I wasn't really trying to theory craft anything. I'm not gonna try to, market this video like this is the truth about Wanda. Like, nah, man. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head here. I'm sure I'm probably missing some things because I don't like script this stuff out. I just like to go off the cuff, just get my my true first thoughts about everything. That's why, like, we do the show. Even though we, like, do the pre-recording of the show, I like to do it in the live setting because, like, I don't know, that's just the content I prefer. It's just to have that, like, live discussion, you know what I mean? So, guys, again, thanks for watching. Let me know if I missed anything down in the comment section below. And let me know if you agree with my theories there. Do you think Wanda is manipulating reality around her, and anyone who goes into it is being affected by it, but then when she breaks character, that's when everyone else can, like, kind of break character? And then maybe it's just like, are you confused as well about the Agnes thing? Because in my mind, it seemed like she's on the up and up. It seems like she's able to resist it. She knows that something's off, and she's just, like, kind of just playing around with everything. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget that you can submit topics and questions by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. And we will be back next week with a regular episode of H&U with John and Rick here, obviously. Again, sorry that this one just kind of ended up being me throughout. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's the same thing, just minus 2 people, really. So this is all the same stuff we're going to talk about, with the bonus of being able to talk about Godzilla versus Kong. So with that said, though, stay tuned for more live streams. Like, we stream every Friday. I'm trying to do, like, every Wednesday, probably have, like, a review of some sort, or like an unboxing or something along those lines. So speaking of which, if you caught the live stream that we did this on Friday, I did an unboxing of these 2 bad boys here. So I'm going to be cutting that out, though. I'm going through and editing that stream to actually post the unboxing of this. So anyone who missed it would still be able to watch the unboxing video. So these are the Revan lightsabers. Both the Sith one right here and the Jedi one right here. And these are from Corban. So I got these. I did the unboxing of these live on this past Friday. So if I don't have the video up, the unboxing video, the standalone unboxing video up, then you can go back and watch the live stream. I think it starts about like 30 minutes into the live stream-ish. I'm not 100% sure about. When I did it, we kind of bullshitted for a little bit, and then I opened them up. Then like a quick demo of everything, and yeah, like I'm really happy with them, though. Like, they look amazing. They're super duper accurate, screen accurate. I'm gonna do, on top of, like, having the unboxing video out there, I'm also going to be doing, like, a full review of them, and I'm gonna compare them. Oh, sorry, man. It just never gets old. It never gets old just turning them on and just playing with them, man. Never gets old. I'm going to be doing a review of them, more in-depth one. I'm going to also be doing a comparison video of the Jedi one with this Jedi one, which was from a different company. This was the gunmetal variant from Ultimate Works. So I have an unboxing review video of this one already up on the channel. But I'm going to be doing, again, like I said, a comparison for the core math ones. With that said, what else was I going to do? Oh, yeah, I got a bunch of like new fonts on that thing. So I was going to actually be making a video demoing a lot of these fonts with some cool pre-ons and stuff that I kind of set with like particular fonts. It's just some really cool stuff, man. If you're not on the custom lightsaber game, dude, well, stay tuned on the channel and you'll learn more about it, obviously. But like literally, like go look it up, find some other information about it, because like, man, it's an addicting thing, just like hot toys. I'll tell you what, like once you get rolling, I mean, it was like a couple weeks ago, I had 0 custom lightsabers. Now I have 3 custom lightsabers. But it's an expensive hobby, though, so beware. But definitely do research. Do your research because they're expensive, but they're amazing. They're totally worth it. But anyways, guys, yeah, stay tuned for that stuff. Stay tuned for live streams. Submit your topics and the questions to the email right there. Throw it up one more time. Blooping it up. Then, of course, like, subscribe, share the video, all that good stuff. And again, we'll be back next Monday with a regular show. Hopefully no audio issues. It will be good. I mean, again, if you guys missed it, I made another announcement this past on the stream. I hopefully got my hands on a 3090 coming my way too. So I got that coming. So maybe these damn audio issues and everything will stop. Because if you know, the RTX voice, like I was saying, the software, it was released with the 30 series, but you can use it without having a 30 series. So maybe though, once I get the damn 3090 in here, I can use a new updated version that they have built into the recording software. I forget what it is, and maybe the damn thing will stop. Maybe it'll stop crashing and everything. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm just rambling on at this point. But yes, guys, thank you for watching again. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Go check out the unboxing videos, all that. I'm out. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.